And let's get into those components. What's going on, everybody? S.L.B coming at you with another video review, and this time we're taking a look at S.H.Figuarts Ant-Man and the Wasp. And here she is in her plastic prison. Let's take a quick look at the packaging. Let's have some nice artwork up here of Wasp, shrinking and growing. There she is in her clamshell prison. Just has Ant-Man the Wasp, Bandai, all that fun stuff. Logo. On this side, you just have a product shot of her looking all feminine and pretty. And on this side of the packaging, you just have another product shot, a close-up of the helmet, as well as the effect of her shrinking going on down there. Bottom of the packaging, you just have product shot, caution, choking hazard. And on the back of the packaging, you just have some more product shots. You can do this, that, the other. There she is standing next to Ant-Man, and the Tamashii stage that is included. That is it for the packaging. Let's get her out and see what she looks like in hand. So here we have Wasp out of the packaging, and really quickly before we go into the figure, as always, let's take a quick look at what is included. What's included is your obligatory operation manual. Right here, just easy ways you can do things. Nothing on the back. Hooray for operation manual, not instructions. Operation manual. Also included in the packaging, you do get optional hands for the figure. 2 karate chopping hands right here, which are done really nicely. And I'll show you how to change those in a second. And you do also get some open palmed hands right here. I think the detail on these is really good because you got some wrinkles in there in the gloves, which really stands out with this. There you have that. Also included in the packaging is your Tamashii stand right here, flight stand, whatever you want to call it. Clear black plastic, very smoky, not very transparent, but a little bit. You can kind of see through it right there. Really nice, really sturdy, really, not hefty, but enough to hold the figure up. And you do get some clear plastic bits for display purposes, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But let's go over the figure itself. Moving on to the figure, she's a nice looking figure. I like it. There are some things I'm not a big fan of, but it's a little nitpick thing. It's not really anything big and a big QC issue that I think you shouldn't get this figure. But let's go over the look of the figure. It looks very good. Let's go over my one big nitpick right now. I like the flat blue, the flat black color on her. I just would have liked a little bit more shine to the gold bits right here, but the texture is very nice. Very reminiscent of the wings back here. And I also would have liked, let's just go over this right now, an alternate head for non-helmeted head. I mean, that's, I think, my 2 big nitpicks right now is the color and the fact that you don't include an alternate head. But let's grab Mr. Pointer Spudger. Where'd you go, Mr. Pointer Spudger? There you are. And let's just point out this helmet, which is very nicely done. Nice, kind of like a faded gold plastic right here. Clear plastic for the visor. The helmet is sculpted very nice. I love the shiny silver paint here with the flat black right here. I think those look very good together. And it's molded and painted very well. And you got a nice red line. The neck isn't really that straight. Maybe it's just because the way I have it. Just to me, it feels like a little misaligned. But nonetheless, you have a nice red line. And it's a nice consistent red going from the neck down to the chest. And your pervy comments, go ahead. Make those right now. Be my guest. But you also got some gold paint throughout, along with this red pinstripe. It's just an overall theme of the suit, which I like. And I think it looks really good. No paint blemishes I'm noticing right off the bat. But it looks very good nonetheless. And again, I love this texture and the gold paint here. It's only predominant in the waist area, the belt, the ab section, the chesticles. and the shoulders and biceps right here. And I like the fact it matches the wings, so it gives it kind of a consistent look. Looks very good. And the shins have a nice sculpted detail him, not too much, but nice to give it a little bit of definition to kind of break up just the solid color. Looks very good, and the feet are done very nice as well. And the wings are a nice clear plastic with a solid silver streak of paint right here. Looks very good. And again, I love this texture. Very reminiscent of wings, insect wings. Let's just get these displayed properly so you can see them. Like that. Nice silver backpack right here, and a nice red stripe going there. And you got a continuation of the belt as long as with the pinstriping gold and red throughout there. It looks very good. Very, very good. I highly like it. So let's move on to articulation for the figure. Articulation, the head is on a ball joint, can do a full 360. And then just snap her neck. Let's see if we can. There we go. Can look up that far, can look down that far. The neck is also on a ball joint, so you get a little bit more range of movement, as you can see there. If you get the wings out of the way, the shoulders can do a full 360. They can go out that far. And there is a nice butterfly joint right here. A nice little shoulder bob on the inside as well. Another big nitpick of mine is the shoulders don't look as natural because there's a giant gap through here, but it's depending on where you pose her or how you have her displayed, I don't think it'll be that much of an issue. There is a bicep swivel right here. As you can see, bend at the elbow gets you a little over 90 degrees. The wrists are on a ball joint. You can do a full swivel right there. They're also on a hinge. You can go in and out. And if you turn it just right, up and down, all that fun stuff. Right here at the mid-chest area, you do have a ball joint. You need a lot of wiggly waggly. Full 360. Nothing hinders that articulation, which is nice. Ball joint at the waist again. A little bit less articulation there. That's mainly due to the mold of the waist area, but still pretty good nonetheless. And it gives you a pretty decent ab crunch right there. Hips are very articulated. You can go forward that far. Can go back that far, can go out that far, but if you want, you can bring it down, give you a little bit more right there. There is a swivel at the hip right there. Double bend at the knee, gets you the full 180 right there. Articulation in the ankles, forward or back that far, forward that far. Little bit of a swivel, little bit of a rocker, not a lot. And the toes can point up and down. The toes on mine are a little on the loose side, but not too much. But if you stand her on her tiptoes, she's going to fall over. So let's get her into a nice relaxed pose. And let's show off the different hands that are included. And much like all the other S.H.Figuarts figures, it's your standard ball peg, socket, connection. Just take the hand, pop it off. Be very careful because these are really small. They don't give you replacement ones. I dropped Mr. Pointer Spudger, but I will revive him later. Hole, peg, right there, so she can give you her hi-ya. Ya, ya, ya. Or if you don't like that, pop off this one. You take the open hand. Oop. Pop that on like that. And there she is grabbing for Hank Pym. Daddy, don't leave me. So there you have that. And I do like the open hands. The karate chop hands are kind of meh. I'm not quite sure how I feel about these. I mean, for a action pose, I get it, I understand it, but just relax kind of looks like, you know, at ease, soldier. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Let's get the normal hands back on. Now let's keep one hand open and one hand closed, just for difference. So let's show off this display stand. There we go. Let's show off the Tamashii stage effects. I mean, it's not really an effect. It's more like just a Tamashii stage here. It's got the Ant-Man and Wasp logo right there. Hollow on the inside right there, as you can see. And if you want, you can take this part. I'll go over the articulation. It's got a hinge here, so you can do that. Like that. Just get that one ready. And this one's got a hinge here and a hinge here. Just forward and back like that. You take this one, you plug it in the hole right there. Take this, plug it in right there like that. Now if you want, on her, there is no hole to plug it in right here. But on some other figures, I've noticed that there is a hole, like on Falcon. Review to come. Spoilers. You do have the option of using this for other figures. But for her, specifically, you get this. And it's just something to hold her in place. These are just on hinges right here. Or if you don't like this, you know, I'll go over what this is for in a second. It's a little awkward if you ask me. But if you don't like this, they give you this option where all you gotta do is just pop these off, like so, like that. And it doesn't really matter which way you go. Pop it on for this option. And let's go over, let's put these back on the other one so I can show you the awkwardness that is this one. If you have a Hot Toys figure, you know what this is for. So, there you just take that, take the figure, move the wings however you wish, back there, clip this around her waist, make sure this is tucked under her nether region, her vajingo, if you will. I call it a vajingo, some people call it a vajayjay, some people have other words for it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And then there's a hole back here and this port, and you just plop it in, and there you have her. You can display her however you wish, and I like that. I like that it gives you that option, so you can have her on your shelf in like a flying stance, like that, or if you just have her just, you know, hovering like this, looks good like that. If you don't like that pose and you want a more flying pose with her flat on her stomach, let's just take this stuff off, put her later down. You take these off, like I showed you earlier. Boom. Boom. I would be very careful with these because these are clear plastic and they do have a tendency to snap. So just be mindful of that. Plug it in. Plug it in. Take it, and you can either have it in the back, or if you want her in that flight pose, clip it to her stomach. Like that, and there you have that option. I don't know how well you can see it, but then I think that's a nice bonus too. So there you have the stand, and I think the stand is nice. It's a little annoying that it's got the logo on there, but if you want, you can probably scratch it off. If you want to use this with other figures, it would have been nice if in the inside of the stage here itself, it had little compartments so you can store the extra hands and the clear plastic bits that you're not using, you know, instead of putting them back in the box and throwing them in your closet. But that's just my opinion. So moving on, let's get into some comparisons. So let's bring the wings down here. Oh, I forgot to go over the articulation of the wings. Duh. Hinge, up and down. It's on all four. So there's your articulation for the wings. Sorry. Bad reviewer, Josh. Bad reviewer. Let's just put her right here. Let's get her into those comparisons. Here she is next to a WWE Elite Series figure, Kevin Owens. Here she is next to S.H.Figuarts WWE figure, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Here she is next to S.H.Figuarts Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man. Here she is next to S.H.Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Hulk and S.H.Figuarts Doctor Strange. And here she is next to a Lego Ant-Man. So that is it for comparisons. Let's get into some final thoughts for Wasp. So for my final thoughts for S.H.Figuarts Wasp, let's get the negatives out of the way first. I would have liked an additional head. a human head for her, so you can have that option. I also would have liked the compartments, in the stand here, so you can store everything, but that's just a little nitpick of mine. Nothing a 3D printer won't fix. And I also would have liked a little bit more shine to the gold paint all throughout, just to give it a little bit more vibrant feel. Because to me, the gold looks a little flat next to the rest of the flat. Like the flat blue, the flat black. I think if they had a little bit more shine to the gold, it would have stood out a little bit more. And one more thing I didn't really mention earlier, but I would have liked in addition to this figure, is they give you these closed fists. It would have been nice if they also included like an effect of like her shooting the stingers out of her wrist like she did in the movie. I think that would have been a nice touch too, so you can get a little bit more of a dynamic action pose out of her instead of her just standing there with her fist closed like she's ready to punch you, or the fingers open. But other than those few things, I think this figure is great. The sculpting on this figure is on point. That helmet is dead on. And I can't get over the wings and just how nice they look. The clear plastic with the silver paint in there really stands out. And the sculpting on the body, the suits, the knee pads, the wrists, everything is very nicely done. It's a very feminine figure. It doesn't look overly feminine or not feminine enough. If that makes any sense. I mean, it's not like her proportions are crazy ridiculous. It's a very nice form. And again, I'm going to mention this, the molded detail in like the ab, the chest area, the shoulders up here. I think the fact that it matches those wings really stands out. It really makes it nice. And the flat black and flat blue paint on the figure, it's very nicely done. And usually sometimes it's maybe just me, but I feel like on those kind of, the plastic with that kind of paint, if you touch it long enough, you'll get fingerprints all over it. And I feel like this doesn't happen on this figure, so they must have done something differently to the paint or something to not give it that feeling. And maybe it's just the oils in your skin from your sweat, I don't know, but I feel like on this one, it's not going to affect it. And I think the scale of her is also on point and looks very nice next to a bunch of other S.H. Figuarts Marvel figures. I think the scale looks very good. So that has been my review of S.H. Figuarts Marvel Ant-Man and the Wasp. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Links to everything will be in the description down below there. If you see it down there, thank you very much. Please hit me up. This is S.L.B. and this has been my review of Marvel Ant-Man and the Wasp. And this is S.L.B. saying, my childhood hates me. This is S.L.B. I still can't remember. How do I end the show? How do I end the video? Oh my god, do I need to watch one of my videos to know how I end it? Hold on, be right back.